Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. All right, we got a message today. It's going to be kind of a funny message. One thing I want to say before I start this message. I don't know about you guys, but I've been getting a lot happier about this whole situation, and this is going to be probably the most positive message I've made. You may have noticed my tone, my voice has loosened up quite a bit from the beginning of all these narcissist videos, because about, when was it, 2 years ago, a little more than 2 years ago, started maybe 2.5, I started making these videos. So here's the thing, I'm going to make a transition too. I'm going to say this real quick. I'm probably going to shift away from narcissist abuse and go back to the dating relationship stuff, or something more along the lines of empowering you guys, because I'm a personal development coach. I am highly, highly trained at what I do. I mean, I did study psychology in college, but it was when I started going to Tony Robbins seminars, and then I started getting certified in NLP, Ericksonian hypnosis, timeline therapy. I studied my ass off for 12 years without taking a break, and that's on top of my college studies. So I went to all the trainings for a long, long time. So all that is about, okay, let me say this. Okay, a lot of people think, oh, so you're into that positive thinking stuff. Like, yeah, go upstairs and read the 500 books that I read. Seriously, go upstairs and read or all the audio tapes and go to all the seminars I went to. It's not positive thinking. You're actually using change technologies to change things inside. So now, let's get to the narcissist thing for today's message. All right, so I was watching a YouTube video, and it's someone I followed for a while. She's a tarot card reader, and she said something that reminded me of something that happened to me about, it was more than a year ago. In fact, I think it was early on in this whole narcissist abuse thing. So here's what she was talking about. This is how I jump right into it. She's talking about how this person's, because she's a tarot card reader is what she is. I really like her voice, like the way she talks. And she's talking about how, oh, you've got this person, they're like a fan, they're like a follower, and they're all like, they like you, but they hate you. And I'm like, oh God, I know who this is talking about. It's a narcissist. And she goes, they completely emulate you. In fact, the people around them are like, dude, what's going on? Like, what? Like, you are walking and talking like Mike, like this. She's not talking to me. She's talking to a general thing on YouTube. And, like you and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, she goes, but the thing is, like, they want to be you, but at the same time, they hate you. And that is such a typical narcissist thing. And she goes on and on talking about how they try to dress like you, they try to talk like you, they try to walk like you, they try to act like you, and they try to do what you're doing. And one of the things she says is, and yet they don't have the training, and they don't have the years of experience. And that's also another narcissistic thing, where they think that they can just magically mimic you and suddenly have your skill set, right? Which is just not, it's just a fantasy island kind of thing. So I started laughing because this was when I was early on in the videos. I was still really pissed off, and I was really upset at what the hell had happened. And it really was like, what? And I was still in the shock stage of, what the fuck is this? Like, the whole narcissist thing, and like what they did, and why, like, why would they, it didn't, like, nothing makes sense, right? So I was in that kind of mind-boggled stage, and yet, okay, and they were stalking me too. Oh, that's another thing. That whole gang stalking thing? I went through that for a long fucking time. And the thing, though, is my intuition went through the roof. And I was like, oh, this person knows that. Like, I could feel it. And I would confront these people and like, yeah, so-and-so sent me. So it was just a bizarre, thing. But here's the funny part about it. This is the part that I realized. On the one hand, I realized it and I laughed, but then on the other hand, it was kind of sick. Now it's not sick. Now it's absolutely true. And I'm hoping this is what's happened to some of you guys. So 2+ years ago, I was like, wow, I've got a bunch of followers. I got a bunch of fans. And I'm not talking about like YouTube or Twitter, like subscribers or, followers, nothing like that. I'm just talking about the narcissist and their group. It's like, wow, all these people are so concerned about me, what I'm doing, how I'm doing. It makes you, I know this is the sick part. it makes you feel like a freaking rock star. It makes you feel like, wow, these people are really focused on me. Like, wow, this is, and it's like, at the time I thought, wow, this is kind of sick, but it, I don't even know how to say this. This is not quite the right way to say it, but I can't figure out better words for it. But it made my self-esteem go up, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And it literally was like, wow, all these, now here's the deal. I get it. The stalking part's scary. It really, and the whole like narcissist thing is just creepy. And so it's like, I was in that fear part of it all. And yet there was this thing kind of like, coming up, and it was like building up my self-esteem. I know that sounds freaking bizarre. It was because okay, here's what it was. I suddenly realized, just like that girl said on the video today, on the one hand, they are doing everything they can to be like you. They're even trying to change their profession to be like your profession. Or if you work at a certain company, they're going to try to get a job there. They're literally trying to emulate you. Yet, on the other hand, they hate you. Well, that was the realization that started coming up. All these people in my life, going all the way back to high school and even before, it's like on the one hand, they really liked me, wanted to be around me. But then on the other hand, they absolutely hated me because they couldn't be me. Well, of course they can't be me. I'm freaking awesome. So here's the thing. I'm wondering if a big chunk of you guys are starting to get the positive effects of this whole narcissist abuse. And if you haven't, it's because you haven't learned what you needed to learn from this stuff. Because there's so much okay, for example, my whole life, all I've heard was from teachers and my friends' parents, you got to have boundaries. You got to have boundaries. I even went to like a life coach, therapy, energy healers. Oh, Michael, you need boundaries. You need stronger boundaries. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell does that mean? And so I remember in college, I had this counselor. I think it might have been a teacher. I don't remember. I remember her face exactly. But she was a teacher counselor. I don't remember. But something came up. I forget what it was about. And she goes, oh, Michael, you need to have better boundaries. And I freaking almost snapped on her. And I just blurted out. I go, what does that mean? Everyone keeps saying it. She's like, I don't think, what is a boundary? What do you mean? And she gave me the worst. I mean, she tried. I get it. But she gave me the shittiest fucking boundary. She's like, well, imagine there's like a 1-inch wall, 1 inch tall, and it's down around your feet, about a foot out, and it goes around you. And I looked at her like, dude, I could step right over that. That's not a fucking boundary. And so I just walked away frustrated. So here's the deal, though. I have boundaries now. Now here's the other thing. I have self-respect now. I don't let people talk to me like that. I just walk away. I just see him. It's like, I know in the beginning when you go through narcissist abuse, like, people tell you, like, you need to get away from that person. You need to walk away. You need to cut ties with everyone that's friends with that person because they're flying monkeys, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, I'm going to be all alone. And you don't want to be alone. But, man, it's the best thing in the world because now you don't need anybody. You don't need someone for company. Once you've spent enough time doing things on your own, you start having fun doing things. You start doing like me, like I'm building up my business now. I'm doing YouTube videos. I'm on social media, blah, 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 blah. I'm getting shit done. I don't need, and here's the thing, making these YouTube videos is fun for me. Okay. And not just the YouTube videos, but I'm a writer too. So I love to blog. I love to write. I've written 5 books now. But the point being is like you start getting into yourself. And the other thing is the self-love. Because if I could say there's one thing about narcissist abuse, it's learning self-love. Because when people who love themselves, when you learn to love yourself, I mean, truly love yourselves, it becomes like this automatic reaction or instinct when someone is rude or disrespectful. You're like, what? You just walk away. It's like your body just goes, oh God, I got to get away from that person. You don't sit there and wait around or try to get them to be nice to you or try to get them to like you. You're just like, oh, I'm out of here. So you start to love yourself better. You start to be good to yourself. You have better thoughts about yourself. You just feel better, okay? So I guess the overall message, and it was really, I was laughing I wish I would have just turned on my phone and recorded it while I was watching that video, because I started laughing out loud because I remembered 2.5 years ago or whenever it was when I was just like, what the fuck? it dawned on me, because this person, okay, I'm going to tell you what they did. I blocked them on everything, and I mean fucking everything. And emails, phones, social media, and they showed up like 5 months later from far away, and I mean hundreds of miles away, and just randomly showed up. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was like, how do they not understand? Like, dude, I don't want to talk to you. So there's a lot into the conversation, but what they ended up saying was, oh, so you blocked me on everything, huh? I was like, yep. I go, I don't have nothing to do with you. Well, I made a bunch of fake social media, and I'm laughing right now. I wasn't at the time, but they're like, well, I made a bunch of fake social media accounts, so I'm gonna be watching you anyways. And I just, at the time, was like, what a weirdo. I just thought, what a freak. So here's the thing, though. That was part of the self-esteem thing, because it was months later when I just like, man, these people are just putting in a ton of effort to see what I'm doing, to know what I'm doing, to emulate me, to copy my voice, to copy the way, you know, my facial expressions. And you're like, wow, it makes you feel like a freaking superstar. So, I'm joking about that part. But you know, I don't know how to put it into words, but something happened where it made me go, wow, like these people think I'm, for some reason, in their mind, they think I'm that important. And I'm going to tell, okay, I'm going to just say, I'm not making this funny like I wanted to. But I'm telling you, it did something for my self-esteem. Like, all of a sudden, my self-respect, my self-esteem, my confidence about myself grew. Like, I never really saw myself in that light, but it really pointed it out. And I reflected back, oh God, I could go all the way back to high school, even before that, where these people would just fucking hate me. And I'm like, well, what? And for my whole life, I didn't fucking understand. Like, why do you hate me? What the fuck did I do? You know, it was because they wanted to be like me. They wanted to be good. You know, a friend of mine since 8th grade, Greg Hamilton, great guy. We were about 22, 23 years old. We bumped into each other. He had moved out of town, and he happened to move to the city that I was living at the time. We just randomly bumped into each other at a pizza place. But a few months later, he just goes, don't you get it? I'm like, get what? He goes, they want to be like Mike, like the Michael Jordan commercial, be like Mike. And I'm like, what? What are you talking? He goes, Mike. He goes, you have no idea how many people were jealous of you in high school. He goes, that's why they hated you. No, I heard him. And I logically understood the words, but I was like, but why do they hate me? That was the part that I couldn't fucking understand. But thank God for narcissists, because goddamn, they're going to help you understand. And if you don't, you're going to freaking die. So, you know, I got another video coming out after this, but I got to tell you something. Narcissists, the way they go about shit, man, it's like you have to learn, or you are just going to sit there and suffer. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about this whole thing about, like, did you learn a ton of stuff? Because I know I did. And it's because they wanted to be like me, but they couldn't. So the thing about it is, this whole narcissist thing for me has just blew up my self-esteem and self-respect and even self-understanding and even understanding of why so many people were fucking assholes and mean to me for no reason. I was like, and that was the thing that drove me nuts for fucking years. And now I'm the one laughing, going, oh, I get it now. So people, I hope this video has helped you guys. And I hope my videos over the last 2 years have helped you guys learn, understand. And I hope you guys are coming out of the mud, out of the muckiness of this whole nightmare into the sunlight. You know what? Let me know if over the last year, 2 years, 2.5, 3 years, if you have noticed yourself getting a little bit happier, a little bit lighter, or maybe you're just not as dark and depressed as it was in the beginning. Let me know if you've progressed. And I don't necessarily mean because of my videos. Now, hopefully my videos have taught you some stuff and helped you to heal and see things in a better light, et cetera, and learn and grow, et cetera. But even if it's just on your own, even if this is your first time coming to my channel, have you come out of the darkness and into a lighter way of living your life? Have things gotten better at least a little bit? Hey, God bless you guys. I'm out. See you guys in the next video. Remember, go to my website, Mike Colleen, MikeKollin.